All right. So what I think we should do is I'm going to tell you what I learned from our interviews. And then from there, you all can make comments, ask questions. And then after that, we will make a vote. Okay. Or you will make a vote. All right. So Sandy spoke with Vanessa from Garfield Park, SSA 72. They told her Sabre was recommended by Mike Roshan. Sabre costs were lower than the other proposal they were received. Sabre did research and design elements. They also did the presentation materials for the community meetings, and the SSA facilitated the community meetings. I interviewed Kimberly Bears, who most people here know. Kimberly Bears used to be the executive director of RPBA, and then went on and had her own business called Place Consulting, and that was a company that did pretty much similar things than Sabre and Tesca. So she kind of is very well versed in anything having to do with SSA reconstitution and SSA management. Her feedback was that she felt that so there's two people at Sabre. There's Jeremy and Tony, and she felt that Tony, who's on their team, was an expert at data collection and mapping, and she really appreciated that. She really appreciated that Jeremy from Sabre had a really good relationship with Mark Roshan. So whenever Mark Roshan is the commissioner, what's his title, Karen? You're muted.
Is the assistant commissioner.
Assistant commissioner for Department of Planning. So he's kind of the big boss for SSAs. Anyway, she appreciated that Jeremy from Sabre had a really good relationship with Mark Roshan. So if anything were to, come up, he would be able to communicate really well with Mark Roshan. She said that Jeremy was really good at explaining things SSA related, like when you have to explain the equalized assessed value, or when you have to explain what a TIF is, all that kind of stuff. He's very good at explaining those terms to people who don't normally follow the lingo of an SSA. I asked both of my interviewees, basically to tell me how they felt about the company. And also I asked, was there anything that left you wanting more after your experience with Sabre or Tesca? And Kimberly said no. However, she did say that we should consider the fact that SSA 24 is an SSA with a majority or a huge percentage of Spanish speakers, and they don't have a Spanish speaker on their team. Something to consider. And then I also interviewed their other reference, Sandra Bivens, and she had nothing but good things to say about Sabre. She was the only person working at her organization, and Sabre helped them through the whole process seamlessly. She appreciated that they sat in on public meetings. She said she would refer him to anyone. He was really good with the PIN data and the mapping and all that kind of stuff. And then I also interviewed Jessica Wabikin from Lincoln Park Chamber of Commerce, who's also worked with Tesca. And she had nothing but good things to say about Tesca. She really appreciated how creative and experienced they were. They were really good with the community. She felt that the main person on their team was really good at reading people at community meetings, very organized. And also Scott has a really good relationship with Mark Roshan, which is also a big plus. And another thing that she mentioned was that they were reconstituting in 2020 during the pandemic, and that she appreciated how Tuska was able to adapt really well to the pandemic and things shifting from hybrid to in person, and kind of like having to deal with all that. So that's all I have. So if anybody wants to raise their hand and ask questions or make comments, we could do that. You can raise your virtual hand or unmute yourself and start talking, whatever you want.
Al, you have any questions regarding these?
Well, I'm glad you did the interviews, and it doesn't appear that there was anything negative that people didn't like about the work that Sabre did, that they were successful in reconstituting their SSAs. And they're the $10,000 lower than the other things. So, I would recommend we go with Sabre and save $10,000.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else?
Any other questions before I chime in? All right. I actually did put some time into this after our call. I actually looked up all three of them. So just kind of do this properly, since everybody may ask for feedback. I think for Friedman, we should honestly just, so we have feedback if they do say why we didn't pick them, it's because their costs were substantially more than others. And a lot of that, I think, probably falls under their individual charges. They charge for hourly billing. That's what really drives up their cost. So I think we can eliminate Friedman proposal due to the cost. They're quite substantially much more than the other two. Now, between Sable and Teska, I think, middle of the road, they look great. They've got lots of experience. I do think we need to put a lot of weight into that. They have people within their organization that will relate a lot more to our neighborhood. That they do have Spanish-speaking people that can communicate. We do have a very large population, business owners especially. So I do think we need to put a lot of weight into that. Cost-wise, it looks to be on par. They have a great team, whatnot. Sable is definitely a one-man show. I looked him up. He does have some relationships with the SSAs. His webpage is a landing page. There is really no information about him on there that would relate to this. He seems like a very smart, bright guy, very motivated, is a serial entrepreneur. That seems to be his area of expertise. You look at him, you look at his history of work. If you find him on YouTube, it's all about working with small businesses and how to establish their social presence, whatnot. It seems like the heavy lifting of the work would fall on his data analytics guy, who's actually just doing this part-time. His full-time job is with Balm as a data analytics guy. So it sounds like they do have the tech side, but it sounds like it is it's not as robust as the other firms we're looking at. The second thing is, I couldn't find a LinkedIn page. I couldn't find past work experience that he has with this besides the references he gave here. That seemed to be kind of a little bit more on the personal side, whatnot. He is out of Austin too. He does work in Austin. All of his work history I've seen from this, besides these three SSAs, are all in Austin. I just think that it's worth the $10,000 for the competency to pay to go with Teska. That's my recommendation. I think we do need to support our own staff, the SSA, with a group that they work with, that they do have a Spanish speaking service that can help our providers when doing this reconstitution. I mean, it's one thing we have to do once every 15 years. Hopefully we get the 15-year whatnot. I just do not see the Sable team as a very robust team to do this for us, and especially with a wide district of pins that we have to go through, that also we do not get a lot of responses from our district also. So it's going to be a little bit more hands-on, and I think they're going to need a little bit of a bigger team to kind of get the response. Any questions and comments off of that?
I was on the same page when I heard about the Spanish-speaking aspect. So I think that's really important for our neighborhood. If there's no one who speaks Spanish on the Sabre team, whatever, then that would be kind of concerning for me.
I would agree.
I feel,
Latino business owners, and I think that's fair. It's fair that, you know, somebody can speak to them in their own language, you know. So I agree. It's better to have someone that can speak their language.
Oh, absolutely. We can't, if we want to get this done and get it done properly and have, you know, people supporting us, you got to have someone who can talk Spanish.
I think those are extremely important aspects, and so I would agree as well.
And again, we have so much money budgeted for this that, like, I'm not worried about the extra 10,000, because it's still going to be, I think, about 10,000 less than we were expecting to spend.
Yes.
Awesome. Very good. So at this point, I think
Let me call it to a vote.
Yeah.
And we can probably get her done with here. Wrap it up. All right. I'm going to make the reference to Tesca first. If it's denied, then we'll move on to Sable. I recommend a vote to award the contract for the, what do you call this process again?
Reconstitution.
Reconstitution to Tesca. Can I get a vote or a motion?
Roberto.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Or maybe
Okay,
five.
that's
Any,
one, two,
any
I'm a
nays?
nay.
Nay, one nay.
one nay. Okay.
All right, it looks like that motion does pass. Any other comments or questions?
Okay. So Roberto motioned and Nick second. I just want to make sure I got that. Okay. All right. Any other questions, guys? We did it.
All right.
Thank you.
If all of our
everybody.
meetings were only 15 minutes long.
All right.
Thank
Thanks
you
for all
very
your time,
much,
guys.
everybody.
Thanks, Karen, for joining us again.
Take care.
Close this
everyone.
meeting at 9:16.
Bye-bye.
Cheers, bye.
Bye.